So, what do you get taught about money growing up? What do any of us get taught? Do we get taught how to budget, how to buy a house, how to retire? I think that the understanding of money is often really overlooked. When I was 15 years old, I got my first job, and I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to pay my taxes. Whether we believe it or not, money fundamentally changes the lives of everyone in this room. Whether or not you think about it, we have to accept that our finances take control of at least part of our lives. The things we do, where we live, maybe even the schools we go to. But there is a solution. I love to use the term financial freedom because it's so uplifting. It's freedom. It's freedom from money, freedom from work. So today in this talk, I would like to discuss how all of us can become financially free. So there's 3 things that I think are the most important to understand about money. And I'll tell you them now. Investing, spending, and education. So let's start with investing. Investing is where you put money or resources into something so that it can grow over time. Okay? And we invest in everyday things without even knowing about it. So, for instance, when we go to university, like now, we're investing money, we're investing time in the hopes that our education will help us get a better job. Now, investing is very important, and especially how you invest your money. Because how you invest your money is the process that will take you to financial freedom. So, as we're talking about investing, I would like to talk about the common misconception that saving your money is the same as investing it. There we go. So, whereas investing your money is leaving it to grow passively, saving your money is simply storing it. The difference is that saving your money does not grow. In fact, it does the opposite. Why? It's something called inflation. Now, inflation, to oversimplify it, is basically how much your money devalues over time. So if we take the current inflation rate, which is 8%, bear in mind that 2% is the normal amount per year, it basically equates to our money in our bank accounts being worth 8% less than it was the year before. Ouch. I want to use the metaphor of rowing a boat like managing your money. So when you row your boat, it's the money that you're putting in, and investing would be like that boat going downstream. So it's very easy to row, and even if you don't row, the current naturally takes you along with it. The investment grows by itself. Now, on the other hand, saving your money is like rowing that boat upstream. It's much, much harder. When you save your money, not only do you actively need to row against the current, but also if you stop rowing, then you get dragged back down the stream. That's inflation. So, what I'd like to discuss next is a snowball effect. The reason why investing is so much better than saving money is because of compound interest. And I think some of you may have heard this term before, but compounding is a snowball effect that the growth of your money each year accumulates on top of the growth from the previous year. So eventually it snowballs into this huge sum of money over time. Now, to put it all into perspective, I want to use an example with some real-world data, so it's not just made up. I'd like everyone to just close your eyes. Can we all just close our eyes? Okay. So, what's happening is that it's going to be our 18th birthday. So, happy birthday, everybody. And what we want to do is what every single 18-year-old would absolutely love to do as soon as they turn 18. Open an investment account. Okay, yeah, I get it. It's not quite the same thing. But in this example, opening an investment account is the best thing that we could do. So what do? We get our account, we decide how much money we can save, let's say $200 every single month, and we're going to keep putting that $200 in every single month for the next 40 years. Okay, so we're doing that, and what we're going to do is we'll put it in something simple. So let's say a fund containing the top 500 US companies. For reference, the top 500 US companies has never seen a loss over any long extended period of time in the last 100 years. And it has an average growth rate of 10%, again, over 100 years. So not all investing is risky when it's done in the long term. Okay, so we're going to open our eyes. And now that 40 years has passed, we put in our $200 each month, and we'll see where we're at, right? So we're 58 years old. Firstly, okay, a lot of time has passed. But secondly, we go to look at our investment accounts. And how much money do we have? So we have over $1 million. That's us investing with 10% growth every single year. We're just putting $200 a month every single month, and we're sticking to it consistently. It's absolutely incredible what compound interest can do for exponential growth. So, what I'd like to say about this is that when you're investing, you have to look at the long term. If we go back to our river analogy, this red line would be the distance that our boat has traveled. So it's really going at tremendous speeds because the current is so strong, the current being the compound interest, to the point where, firstly, we don't have to row at all, and secondly, because we don't have to row, it means that we don't have to put any more money into the investment. The investment is growing by itself. And so what does that mean? It means that if you have a 10% growth every year, 10% of $1 million is, as we know, $100,000. Now I can say that that will comfortably help anybody in this room if they had $100,000 as a passive income. All it took was some time and some consistency. So, that leads us on to the second part of our talk, which is about spending. So I can't give you investment advice on, okay, you need to buy this specific thing, but I can show you where perhaps you can get the extra cash. So with spending, we're all guilty of buying things that we don't really need. For me, it's takeaways, Uber Eats. You name it, I have eaten it. But we need to balance our spending habits with our investment goals. Because if we can balance these right, then what's going to happen is you'll have a world where you can both live in the present and have a good life, but also plan and practice for your future where you have financial freedom. And isn't that a great world to live in? So, the biggest thing that we spend our money on is liabilities. Liabilities are the opposites of investments. Whereas an investment grows, a liability decreases in value straight away. And we all know them. Common examples are a new car, a new phone, and even buying food. So, the problem with the liabilities is that we tend to have this tendency that as our income increases, we start to buy more things. If you take the example of getting a promotion, what is the first thing that everybody does? Spend. So, when we're spending all of this money, we need to think about, okay, yes, I'm living a slightly more extravagant lifestyle, but I'm still working just as long, just as hard, and I'm still dependent on working. Whereas if you took that extra money and you invested it or you managed it well, it means that you can work smarter so you can work less. One thing as well on spending is impulse buying. It's something that we really do very, very well as humans. What I would say to that is that impulse buying is most strongest in the present. So to stop that, you should spend, instead of buying something straight away, wait 2 weeks before you make a purchase, because you will really tell the difference and see whether or not it's worth buying it. The problem with impulse buying is it's just now, now, now. So let's make it later, later, not at all. Okay, so that's spending. Now on to the final part of the talk. This is financial education. We've learned about investing, interest rates, inflation, and overspending, but that is only the tip of the iceberg. It's really financial education that gets you to financial freedom. One thing I would say is that it's really not as hard as we all think it is. Everyone pictures you reading excessively and getting your PhD in finance. It's not all that. For me, it's just lying in bed, watching YouTube videos, late at night on my phone. So anyone can really do it. You just have to ask yourself a few simple questions and Google them. Like, how much money can I make? How does money even work? What's the best way to invest? The internet really is your oyster. It has the information that you need and the tools that you need. So, to conclude, I would say that how we manage our money is by far very important for all of our lives. Now, money doesn't buy you happiness, but financial freedom does give you freedom. It gives you freedom from money, and it gives you freedom to do what you want to do instead of what pays the bills. And it does this not just for you, but it gives opportunities around you for the people you love and the other people in your life. Thank you.